Welcome back to Wookies on X-Wing. I'm Jon.
And I'm Matt.
And we are coming back to Round 6 of the Atlantic Canada Regionals for 2016 at MetaGameZ, run by yours truly, with Matt's help, of course. And we have two iconic lists. What do we have, Matt?
Well, we've got Jonathan Mason is running what a lot of people are used to seeing in a Palp Aces list. So he's got the Omicron group pilot with Emperor Palpatine. However, he has added reinforced deflectors as an interesting little tech addition. Got the Inquisitor with Push the Limit, the TIE V1 title, and Autothrusters. And then Soontir with a Royal Guard title, Push the Limit, a stealth device, and Autothrusters.
And up against Jonathan, we have Tim Ralphs, and he is flying the double VCX 100. So that's Kanan Jarrus with N Chopper. Now Kanan, whose pilot ability is when an enemy ship is at range 1 to 2, is attacking, you may spend 1 focus token. If you do, the attacker rolls 1 fewer attack dice. And Chopper, at the start of the combat phase, each enemy ship at touching receives 1 stress token. Now, Kanan has plasma torpedoes, Autoblaster turret, advanced sensors, guidance chip, Zeb Orellios, so that if anybody is touching him, he gets to shoot at them and they get to shoot back, and a Recon specialist for the nice action economy double focus. As for Chopper, Chopper has plasma torpedoes, flechette torpedoes, Autoblaster turret, fire control systems, guidance chips, Ezra Bridger, which is really neat, I like him. When attacking, if you are stressed, you may change one of your focus results to a crit, and Harrison Dula, who is able to let the ghost that you're on, when you reveal or execute a red maneuver, even while you are stressed, you can do that maneuver. And just for shits and giggles, we have the ghost title at 0 points.
Yeah, there's no attack shuttle in this list, but yeah, it's thematic, and it doesn't cost you anything, so why not?
Big rocks, a couple of little rocks, and a few debris fields is what this battlefield is all about. Nicely painted alternate of the ghost and the, well, they're not both ghosts, obviously. One is the VCX 100. That's a bit of a mouthful. I like that ship, but man, it's a beast.
The name matches the size of it.
Yeah, it's an old, rickety, dilapidated shuttle, or freighter, I should say, and it moves like a dump truck. I like it.
But it's got a lot of health, and it's got a lot of guns.
Yeah. And what's really interesting about this version of Palp Aces, I've noticed, is there's some reinforced deflector shields in there.
Yeah, so a nice little system upgrade you don't usually see. It is 3 points, and it actually came out with the ghost, and it's when you take 3 points of damage in a single attack, after the attack's resolved, you can regenerate a shield. Now, somewhat counterintuitively, a direct hit only counts as 1 point of damage, because it's technically 1 critical point of damage.
Of course, that information was released on the FAQ, as well as some little information about plasma torpedoes. How does that interaction work?
Well, the plasma torpedoes, the extra damage, the extra shield the plasma torpedo will remove is also not counted for the purposes of reinforced deflectors. However, reinforced deflectors will resolve after plasma torpedoes have completely gone, so you don't lose the shield you get if the torpedoes do enough damage to you.
So a little bit of a benefit there, a nice ear.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things about this double giant ship rebel list, we're not used to seeing double rebel big ships since way back in the day on Wookies and X-Wing with double Han, double fat Han,
yeah.
Well, Han and another Falcon, double Falcon. So it's really nice to see. Well, I don't know if it's nice to see yet. We'll see how powerful this squadron
intriguing.
is. Yeah, it's intriguing to see a return of the double big ship.
And so one thing to keep in mind with these two, the two ghosts, since neither of them has an attack shuttle, they do have an auxiliary fire arc. However, they can only shoot their torpedoes out of it.
Yeah.
But both ships having torpedoes, it still is. It kind of discourages you from chasing these things. You don't want to accidentally get a torpedo in the face.
Not only that, but both of these big ships kind of are really amazing at that range 1 band if they're getting clustered and blocked in.
Oh, absolutely.
Where you have Kanan, who is really good at absorbing hits, and then you have Chopper, who, if you touch him, you're going to get some stress, and then the Kanan ship has Zeb as well, so if you bump into one, you get stress. If you bump into the other one, you're going to get an Autoblaster turret in the face, and those hurt.
Absolutely.
Especially when you are incredibly dodgy, such as these Imperial Aces. They really live and die by their defense dice. Completely negating that ability is pretty much the end of the world for them.
Yeah. Thankfully, Zeb only works in. He'll only trigger if you're in fire arcs.
Yes.
But it's still a nice benefit, and it helps to kind of remove one strategy of dealing with large ships in that bump into them and then use the later turn to reposition. So we've got Jonathan's his aces have swung out wide, and it looks like he is going for the come up behind these freighters. Now we do know they don't turn terribly well. However, they do have a 5k turn, which is somewhat impressive for something that large.
Looks like the shuttle landed on a rock.
Yeah, that's onto debris.
Oh, that's right.
But no damage taken. Just, he's stressed out. Not that big a deal. Tim maneuvering his ghosts up and around. Looks like he may try to swing. The later turns swing out around and come blasting towards Palpatine here.
Yeah. Well, it's important to note, and I guess this is where the title is important, the iconic paint style of the Ghost, that is the one with the Ghost title. No, I should say yes. No, that is not correct. The purple one is the one with the Ghost title because Chopper has a lower pilot skill than Kanan. I'd hope a droid has a lower pilot skill than a Jedi, but so the purple one is the actual Ghost with Chopper, and the painted one, the iconic one, which would normally be considered the Ghost, that is not the Ghost. That is the one with Kanan.
Yeah. All right, and as mentioned with the, these ships have a 5k turn, Kanan actually just did his 5k turn.
Getting himself pointed in the right direction, and also gives a bit of an opportunity to bunker up if he wants to.
If he, should Tim elect to do that, it's definitely an option here. And I think that maneuver is what surprised me the most about the VCX, is just the fact that, well, I'm so used to seeing a shuttle and a decimator, those other large, unwieldy ships, you can't get them turned around.
Yeah.
Now this has a K turn. All right, that's a little weird.
Yeah, it's like the Falcon's bigger, beefier, bulkier brother.
Absolutely.
More B words. I'm just trying to throw them in there. As for what's really neat about these two VCX 100s is that they're incredibly different in the way that they want to be played as well. With the crew that you can just throw on there, it drastically changes the playstyle. Of course, Kanan is going to want to do relaxing maneuvers and get those focus tokens so he can use that ability defensively if he wants to, or offensively, where Chopper, he wants to get those stress tokens. It doesn't really matter because he can do red maneuvers for days because of
Hera there.
Because of Hera, you get the fire control system trigger so that you can just get target locks whenever you want.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you have Ezra Bridger. So even if you roll focus tokens, you still get to modify those.
Yeah, you get one of your focus results turns into a crit, that's quite nice.
A tremendous amount of dice modification there.
So, while stressed.
While stressed, yes.
All right.
So we have the Inquisitor coming up. My fan favorite, love the guy.
He doesn't want to get too close to these, though.
No.
Especially since this is the second ship to have it. This the Ghost, it has 4 attack dice natively.
Oh yeah. Well, it's only in the front arc, and that's pretty brutal. But if either Soontir Fel or the Inquisitor gets within range 1 of any of these ships, 1 or 2, both, whatever, they could blow up in the single round.
Absolutely.
I've seen it happen. It's, spoiler alert, it's terrible to have happened to.
Yeah, and even like the Ghost is comfortable taking those range 3 shots. I mean, yeah, you have Autothrusters and Palpatine, but that's still even 4 versus 4.
And of course, anybody who's played the game long enough knows that the attack dice is favored in that exchange.
All right, and we've got Palpatine. He's being a little ballsy here, getting closer to the Ghosts. Nice lazy maneuver. Get rid of his stress. Focus up.
I think what Jonathan's going to go for here is to take a bit of pressure off of his fighters. Yeah, he might sacrifice Palpatine in order to do that, but if he is able to allowed Tim to just focus in, hone in on the shuttle, draws some pressure off of these fighters, and allows them to just fly freely. That is where they strive and succeed.
And so we saw Chopper there pulling, I believe, a 5k turn as well. We've got Kanan, nice lazy bank, getting rid of his stress from his previous turn. Let's see what action he is going to do.
Yeah, looks like he's at the very edge of the board, and on top of that, it looks like both of these ships have the very high, large ship stand.
Yeah, those are the huge ship stands, befitting these ships of this stature, and it also makes it a lot easier for your opponent to maneuver around them.
That is true. Yeah, I love the cool stand that the Ghost originally comes with.
That kind of like
a
tripod
holdy
cradle.
hand, yeah. It's something that you would get at a pizza box or something.
Almost. And so we got Inquisitor. Lazy bank. Looks like Jonathan may have been anticipating Kanan banking toward or turning towards Palpatine here, and had planned his maneuver around that. Now, the Inquisitor, he does have barrel roll boost. He can get himself shunted sideways over and into a fire arc here without worrying too much.
The question is whether he wants to, given that next turn these things have pretty much a good place to be, while these ships, like I said, move and fly like dump trucks, they can be surprising in their maneuvers. So when it comes to their hard turns, they have them all. So a ship with Jarrus and Dula is not really limited on those turns either.
No.
And when one of these big ships can do a one hard maneuver, that's incredibly scary when it comes to being the Inquisitor.
Oh, absolutely. It is a red maneuver. The 1 and 3 turns are reds, but it's all right. As long as you get fire control system out, get that target lock in there, don't really care. And both Soontir, as we mentioned, both Soontir and the Inquisitor really don't want to sit in range 1 of these things. Anywhere within range 1.
Which is, it was just really funny, because if Jonathan here went a little bit closer, he would get within range 1. Yeah, he's behind that rock. Rock doesn't mean anything.
No.
That rock is, all there is it there for is scenery.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Autoblasters.
Absolutely. Soontir, nice lazy bank there. Let's see what he decides to do, if he's going to boost forward to get within range 3. And let's say the Decimator is a pretty decent comparison to the VCX here. Both have 16 health. The VCX trades 2 hull for 2 shields. Both have 0 agility. Whatever you roll at them, unless they're getting a bonus to their defense somehow, you're just flat rolling your damage.
I think the real difference between them, more than anything else, obviously, is the 4 attack dice.
The 4 attack dice traded for a turret, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. But when it comes to the modifications that the Ghost can get, where it can get that little attack shuttle in there, and the docking procedure, and the double tap, everything that is there. Now, in this particular game, none of that matters, because it's not being used.
Yeah, and there we have, so Soontir opens up 3 attacks, gets 3 hits, but Tim rolling a defense on his range 3 defense dice. So only taking 2 there, not too shabby. The Inquisitor firing next through an asteroid. And again, granting the Ghost an evasion dice.
Also range 1, because that's how the Inquisitor rolls.
That's just what he does, exactly.
Spending that target lock.
Yep, why not? You might as well.
Yeah, when it comes to target locks, the Inquisitor's always going to be getting them.
And using Palpatine offensively here for 3 hits. And that's another surprising thing about the VCX, is it natively has the evade action.
Yep.
And Tim spending his evade token there. He rolled a blank on his dice, but again, only taking 2 points.
Well, it's, I guess, to represent the iconic nature of it, given how it plays in the Star Wars Rebels TV show.
It is fairly evasive in that. All right, and so no shots back, unfortunately, from Tim's here. Was not in range 1, didn't have his either arc or target locks out for his torpedoes here. But let's see. Well, we'll have Chopper coming back, really coming back into play this turn.
Yeah.
And Kanan, well, let's see where he goes. Wouldn't be surprised if we really start seeing the Recon Specialist used and start seeing his pilot ability being used this turn.
I have a feeling that Kanan is going to be flying away from the fight a bit in order to draw them in more, whereas Chopper is, here we go, heading them off.
Yep. And he is still stressed, however. That is not a green maneuver, but wants to get stuck in and, well, get his guns into the game, really.
And really force the battlefield to suit his needs.
Absolutely.
So I did not call that right at all.
Oh, that's a 2. The non-red turn.
When I said left, I meant right. The other left.
There's the Recon Specialist, so that is not surprising.
No, not at all. And depending on where Jonathan goes with his fighters really is up to him, because it's going to be a hard fight either way, given the crossfire that these things can put out.
This is definitely danger close here. That beautiful one turn that the Inquisitor has. He is not in range to barrel roll further away from Chopper here. And he really doesn't want to get closer to him.
He wants to get out of dodge in the quickest way possible.
Absolutely. So we've got a boost here. He may clear that, but I don't think he's cleared that arc just yet. He might be able to barrel roll out of it, but that's going to be close.
Yeah, it is very risky. However, a barrel roll might give him out of the front arc as well, so it might be worth it.
Yeah.
Getting out of both arcs. Like I said, the best way of avoiding a hit is not getting shot at.
Don't get shot at all. Yeah, I would be surprised if he's out, but that's going to be close. That is the beautiful thing laser lines are why they're invented. And let's see where Soontir is going. Okay, looking for a template. So that is a green turn. Also, Soontir fell, also not wanting anything to do with with Kanan here.
Yeah, Jonathan put himself in a bit of a difficult spot by going in between these rocks, especially when it comes to these big ships, who are quite happy just firing with their turrets if they get close enough.
Yeah, and that's... So Soontir cannot boost, and, well, he definitely can't barrel roll right. He may be able to barrel roll left if he wants to.
That does put him in a very difficult spot, and it will probably put him out of the combat for a couple of rounds. As provided he will want to avoid that rock.
Yeah.
Which he will want to.
Absolutely.
Soontir fell without actions is a sad Soontir fell.
That is a terribly sad Soontir. But he's at least safe from the Autoblaster turret from Kanan. And, no, in fact, he's completely safe from Kanan in general. So here we have barrel roll.
Yeah, he's going to want to do something else now, because I think he's actually just put himself back in a firing arc.
Yeah, it's close. And he is boosting, unsurprisingly.
Moot point. Now he's within... If he is getting shot at all by the Ghost, it is going to be a range 3 through a rock with all of the benefits that Soontir has.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Chopper is just going to... If he has arc into the Inquisitor, I'd say take that shot. Otherwise, just start pounding attack dice into the shuttle.
Getting rid of that synergy early on in the game is going to be very powerful for a late to mid game. These things, by these things I mean the arc dodging Palp Aces and the Aces aspect of that are incredibly great at just staying behind something and dealing with it.
Yeah.
Given the fact that the VCX 100 does have a 5k turn, and can do those as many times as it wants with Jarrus and Dula on one of these fighters, is awesome.
Yeah.
And incredibly scary when it comes to getting behind a ship like this. The other thing that they have to be careful of, not getting too close. They might be able to get behind it, but the Ghost can slow play a lot easier than these fighters can. If they
for sure.
slow play too much, they get within that range 1 band and they're good as dead.
They'll start taking a lot of damage really quickly. All right, and so we have just checking the fire arc here, wanting to be sure. It is a fairly important shot. It's good to make sure.
Yeah, but it looks like it's out. You won't know until we see some defense dice being rolled.
Yeah.
But we got some 4 attack dice going out from the Ghost.
Yeah, so this is gonna be Chopper opening up, and whichever ship he shoots at, he's gonna have a target lock on them. So, honestly, shooting the shuttle may not be a bad option.
Firing the main guns at the shuttle is a lot better than firing the Autoblaster turret. And the thing is that getting that target lock onto the shuttle is really great for when you want to fire those plasma torpedoes.
Yeah. And there is the attack. So from 4, 3 hit.
Daka, daka, daka.
Yeah, very, very nice. And
Definitely into the shuttle. Range 3.
and we actually saw Ezra turning a focus to a crit.
Beautiful.
And Palpatine being used to to mitigate one of them there. Takes a point on the shuttle, so not bad. See if Chopper wants to use his fire control. Looks like maybe he didn't, or possibly forgot. This has been a terribly long day.
Yeah, for sure.
This is round 6 of the Swiss. We've already played, well, an entire tournament, and, well, there's still an entire tournament left to go.
There is still a top 8 cut.
But so the Omicron firing back into Chopper here. It does a bit of damage. So, not bad. A couple points traded either way. And there's the fire control system's target lock from Chopper onto the Omicron pilot.
Beautiful. So here's ballsy Palp flying right into the
Palpatine.
jaw of death.
Well, if Palpatine has the target lock on him, if Chopper bumps him, well, Chopper can't shoot at him and make use of it.
That is true. He's not Kanan.
However, if Palpatine is in contact with Chopper, well, he's getting a stress.
Which really limits where Palp was going to be able to go.
And it looks like both players have banked towards each other here. There's going to be some very close encounters. And just the sheer size of this ship's base, actually have to extend the maneuver template out both ends to be able to backtrack it along. And there we can actually see the Ghost's unique stand, that kind of cradle. We only have one huge ship stand. Snugging right up into the front.
Definitely gives it variety. And that, of course, was a white maneuver, so he keeps his stress.
Still stressed.
Not terrible, given that he's bumped, so he wouldn't have gotten actions anyway. And this ensures that his Ezra Bridger, little Jedi in training, or Sith in training.
Yeah, still making use of it. And Kanan just skimming that asteroid, not quite clipping it there. Very nice flying on that part of that. And I wouldn't be surprised if that shuttle's going to get sideswiped by Kanan here. And it looks like Kanan did actually target lock the shuttle himself. So both of the VCXs have target locks on Palpatine right now.
Whole lot of DACA. I'm a fan.
Yeah, and we've got the Inquisitor. He does not want to stay in fire arc of Chopper.
No.
Especially considering Chopper can't shoot at the shuttle here.
Yeah, get out of range 1.
Yes, absolutely. Get out of arc, get out of range 1.
It's a trap.
Ties hate Autoblaster turrets.
Yeah.
A nice barrel roll sideways. He may have Chopper in arc. Otherwise, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a boost going on. But you do have to be... Yes, the advanced prototype has some fantastic green maneuvers, but you do have to be careful of getting yourself stress locked.
Yeah, and again, we've said it before, that push the limit is an option. By forcing yourself into that option, you limit a lot of your possibilities. If you don't need to use it, and it's not to your benefit to use it, don't use it.
For sure.
But some people are afraid to take that risk, and so it slows you down on your playing. When it comes to your green maneuvers, you only have your turns and your really, really tight turns and your straights.
Yeah, and so we do have, as we're saying, push for an evade to trigger the TIE V1 title, getting a target lock onto Chopper here. And that gorgeous green turn that the TIE Interceptor has. He definitely wants to get that rock between himself and Kanan.
Yeah.
Don't want to fiddle with that. But again, you also need to be careful that you don't accidentally dump yourself into a bad spot with Chopper.
There's just so much of the board that is just completely no-go zone for these aces that they're finding it a difficult time to line up their shots. They don't want to get too close, and they still want to get firing arc, and these things don't want to get anywhere when it comes to where these things can fire. So,
all right, and so we've got this is Soontir opening up onto Chopper, debating whether or not he wants to use Palpatine and or his focus yet. With Soontir Fel and Palpatine stealth device is a very durable Fel. You're pretty likely to keep your stealth device around for a while, but at the same time, you still kind of want to hold on to onto those tokens and abilities just in case, especially when you're against 4 attack dice.
Yeah, you don't want to waste them willy-nilly.
Absolutely. And so there's unfortunately a focus result rolled for Chopper's defense, telling us that Soontir is at range 3 of the Ghost, or of Chopper. Not a bad place to be. That is going to be 4 attack dice versus 5 defense dice.
With Autothruster trigger.
With Autothrusters, an evade token, a shield, or a focus. Palpatine. No, it looks like Palpatine's not in play. It looks like he was already used. And so the Inquisitor is able to just catch the corner of Chopper. Spends his target lock. And let's see. Oh, and the stress from Chopper that would have started at the start of the combat phase. Let's see what the Inquisitor... So he does get some attacks off.
And no matter what the range, it's going to be range 1.
Absolutely. So Palpatine was not used yet. He just forgot to place the token back. Again, Chopper just taking a pounding here. And we've got Kanan unleashing the plasma torpedoes into the shuttle. So guidance chips going through for 2 hits and a crit potentially. And let's see what how the shuttle reacts to it. That rather unfortunate 1 defense dice, but that looks like it is an evade, so we'll cancel 1 of them. So the plasma torpedoes do 2, and then should there be a shield remaining, which I believe there is, that will remove the 3rd one. And as that removal happens, as the FAQ says, that removal is not counted towards reinforced deflectors. So you don't get to regenerate a shield after.
A little tricky to use the reinforced deflectors when it comes to these other abilities that sort of just bypass it.
It really is. Yeah, it is a very nice upgrade. It's a good upgrade. I'm not sure if 3 points as a system, especially given the a decent chunk of the Imperial faction doesn't care and can't do 3 points of damage unless they're at range 1 anyway.
Yeah.
But It's a little expensive for a situational ability.
Yeah, it definitely stops munitions. It's a big ship upgrade that is very, very beneficial against munitions.
Absolutely.
The thing is, these big ships, a lot of the time, they have some problems with munitions, but it's sort of a race against time when it comes to that kind of thing. What big ships tend to have a big trouble with is
death by 1,000 cuts.
death by 1,000 cuts.
And here is, so this is Chopper firing into Soontir.
A billion defense dice.
Ezra. It looks like he is alright. There's Autothrusters. Well, with Autothrusters, focus, evade. All Jonathan needs to do is roll an evade
Yeah.
and a focus.
He
And
got
he
him.
doesn't care.
He got with those dice.
Or just roll an evade and a blank, and he's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it's definitely it's still a, what if, but
yes.
unlikely to hurt him.
Soontir's going to need to motor though, because Chopper is in a really good spot to actually cut him off. So if Soontir doesn't motor and just tries to do a turn,
He will have his stealth device removed post-haste.
he could get bumped, and that'd be fine for him. However, the other ghost could come up and just blast him.
Absolutely. So here is the shuttle. Oh, it looks like the shuttle actually did a maneuver such that it just ends up bumping into Chopper. Chopper doing a 4 forward, clearing the shuttle, putting a bit of pressure onto Soontir here.
And the 4 forward is a white maneuver, so that stress is going to stay there.
Yeah, it looks like it wants to keep Ezra staying, or basically keep him used.
And
It has a very narrow opening there.
it's not that narrow unless you were in a giant ship.
Absolutely. It's again just
More-
using trying to get the forward guides aligned here. We'll be slamming into the side of the shuttle here. Just sneaking through those asteroids.
Definitely makes me curious what this shuttle is going to do.
Well, that shuttle is going to get shot because Kanan has Zeb. So that shuttle's going to take 5 attack dice.
Yep. And then maybe 2 attack dice from the Autoblaster turret from Chopper.
Yeah, and that shuttle, it's target locked from the munitions from last turn.
Oh yeah.
Or should be anyway. Yeah, this I'm kind of excited to actually get to see Zeb in use.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen him yet.
No.
I mean, aside from him on a shuttle.
Yes. All right.
You can definitely see a lot of use for him, considering he's only 1 point as a crewman.
And so there's the Inquisitor burning up the side there. Wants to get repositioned around.
Very top of the battlefield.
Definitely. All right, and let's see. Oh, it's a boost. Let's see if he decides to push. Very likely will. Been pretty consistent with that. Barrel rolling away, further away from the scrum here. Inquisitor,
Very edge of the board.
definitely. It fits him. He wants to engage on his own terms. 2. Now, Jonathan's been pretty consistent with his green maneuvers of doing those 2 turns.
Yeah, it's definitely been locking him into predictability, but at the same time, with a TIE Interceptor, you just have so much flexibility in what you want to do.
Definitely, and quite easily, in that direction especially, quite easily clearing that dangerous range 1 band.
He's out, but that means he's not getting any shots either. So now he's thinking about, does he want him to stress himself out and become predictable again?
Just looks like insurance just in case Kanan would decide to shoot the shuttle, or decide to shoot at him over the shuttle.
Yeah,
Which, not, in this case, not the right option at all.
very unlikely.
And the Inquisitor, no shots. So we have Kanan into the side of the shuttle here.
5 attack dice.
So it gets a few through there onto the shuttle. Not bad, and Chopper will be able to use his Autoblaster turret. Looks like that Tim may have forgotten his 5th attack dice from range 1. And that shuttle is taking a beating.
Now, it took enough hits to be able to get a shield back from, I believe, a shield back from Deflectors.
Yep, he would have there. And there's the Autoblaster turret.
Can't see what it is because it's being hidden by the ghost, but that's alright.
It is, but there's definitely an Ezra modification there. So that may well be, well, both are left on the board. That's very likely 2 hits.
Keep in mind that he can cancel out that crit result.
Can, and it looks like he did. And the hit, looks like the hit blew the shield off. And the counterpoint to Zeb of, yes, you can shoot, but your opponent can also shoot you.
Which is why he's only the low cost of 1 point.
Of 1, exactly. And that is the shuttle dealing a critical hit, a direct hit to the not ghost.
The VCX 100.
It is, but that thing still has 9 health remaining, and that shuttle definitely does not.
Yeah.
Somewhat surprised it survived the turn, but still not too shabby. That shuttle is not in a happy place at all.
Yes. It needs to find its happy place. That happy place is far, far away.
Yes. That happy place is back in the Death Star. The 2 forward maneuver, moving up, getting away from Chopper here. Unlikely to escape from Kanan. And a lazy bank. Now this... Now does that remove his stress? It does not look like that removes his stress. I don't think that is a green maneuver. That is just a white, isn't it? Absolutely, it's the 2 banks are the greens.
Yeah. It is a
Kanan.
ponderous ship. It can't do slow, it can't do fast.
Now I'm a little surprised Kanan went that way. Would have expected him to go a little more slowly forward and try to, get an Autoblaster turret shot into the side of, or into the back of the shuttle there.
Well, the thing is that Jonathan has been telegraphing his maneuvers when it's come to Soontir, and
That's true.
If Tim has put Jonathan under the impression that he's just going to go after the shuttle, then it might put him into a false sense of security with this TIE interceptor. That means that if the TIE interceptor does a too hard maneuver, he's going to be in a really bad spot.
He is, and it looks like he is in doing that too hard maneuver. He is going to have to... Well, he's in arc. He's going to have to boost to clear the arc. But that's an iffy boost just because of that debris field.
Exactly. It's a very strong play by Tim here.
I like it. Now, Soontir can barrel roll first and then boost. But again, that's removing him from the fight for a turn.
On top of that, there is a debris field in that corner of the board, which can spell out mayhem for Soontir in the following turns.
It is. Oh, and it looks like he was able to clear, just able to clear that debris field. Now, it's a little unfortunate that Kanan is not the one with 2 torpedoes, given that he has a target lock on the shuttle. He could just shoot flechettes out the back of it.
Yeah, no kidding.
But Soontir is not in a... He is in a horrible... Really a horrible spot for him. And just try to get some damage through onto Kanan here. But Kanan can, if he, as long as Tim remembers, use his pilot ability, spend a focus, and mitigate that range 1 bonus that Soontir is going to get here.
So is the rear arc a...
It is a torpedo firing arc.
Oh, really?
It is only a torpedo firing arc. It is a very strange auxiliary arc. If you have the Ghost title and you have your attack shuttle docked, it does become a full firing arc.
Very interesting.
And so here is Soontir debating, does he spend his focus? Looks like he spends his focus. And do you use Palpatine on this?
It's hard to say, because given the Autoblaster turrets ignore basic hits.
Yeah, the hits ignore the basic hits ignore any kind of defense dice.
Yeah, I got my words backwards. I'm going to translate into basic some other way.
And we did actually see Kanan use his pilot ability, so a nice remembering by Tim, especially after 6 rounds.
Yeah.
Little things like that can be missed. But this is definitely quite a decision of, well, what do you save Palpatine for? And it looks like he's just going to let it ride with the 2 attack dice. So that will be 2 points of damage through onto Kanan. And that will be half value for Kanan.
A lot of points, and it wasn't that difficult for that fighter to just rack up those points.
No. And there is the Inquisitor. Did have the arc, 3 hits. Absolutely disgusting. Just... And spending your other focus token to just... Alright, I blast 2 points of damage through onto Soontir.
Enjoy that.
Love it. You're at 1. I shoot your stealth device off. And now Soontir has to be very careful.
He doesn't want to hit any kind of rocks.
No, not at all.
He definitely wants to, and the thing is that he's stressed, so he either wants to go really fast, or he wants to go really fast.
Yes.
Because if he does another turn, again, he's going to put himself back on the same spot that he did last turn, or this turn currently, and that will dispel the end for him. And with 1 fighter down, there only needs to be the Inquisitor to go, because that shuttle is not going to put up much of a fight.
No, not at all. Not against these. Not against the volume of fire that a VCX can bring to bear. And it looks like Palpatine he's getting out of there. He does not want to stay nearby. He is remaining stressed from Chopper, though. He hasn't really had the opportunity to clear that. Chopper doing a 1 hard turn. It is a stressful maneuver, however, Hera lets him do that.
Not a care in the world.
No. And again, nice to see crewmen really being put to use here.
Well, I've noticed that when it comes to the Rebels, they're getting a lot of unique pilots and abilities. And I mean, Rebels have always had that kind of, we have individuals, where the Imperial has, we have goons. Here are mass goons.
Yeah.
So having the named characters really shine and become modular when it comes to these kind of list-building squadrons.
Definitely.
It really adds a layer to the game, and I'm really happy to see these new characters being used. Looking forward to the next wave where we're going to have
Yet more.
even more.
And, well, repeats and different versions of characters. All right. And so, Kanan moving up. Soontir doesn't really have to worry about the Autoblaster turret this turn. He has lots of board room to get away.
Oh, yeah.
Inquisitor, he's looks like he's got his eye on Kanan. Wants to get the damage through. Now, Kanan, he's got 7 points of damage on him. He's only got 3 health left. That is not unheard of. That's actually pretty reasonable for the Inquisitor to do in a single round.
Yeah.
And Soontir, almost bumping there.
Yeah, that could have been really bad.
Soontir does not want to bump with Chopper behind him. And should see a boost, or barrel roll, and then very likely a boost here.
Get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, that barrel roll does clear Chopper's arc, so Soontir doesn't have to worry. We'll see if he decides to boost and stress him out.
I think he might have learned that lesson.
That's quite possible. And it looks like he has. There's no push to the limit there. And just checking to see if checking to see if Kanan was in pilot ability range, but Kanan has actually evaded this turn anyway. And there's the Inquisitor. He will simply spend his evade token to take 2, a hit and a crit. And it is not a direct hit. It is a munitions failure. Which, unfortunately, will blow that Autoblaster turret off.
Mm-hmm.
Since Kanan had spent his plasma torpedoes, which, alright, kind of annoying, but definitely will help it a little bit there. Alright. And unfortunately, Tim not having, well, really any return shots here. Jonathan gets away with doing 2 damage to him basically for free. And Kanan is in a bad spot.
Yeah, I don't really feel comfortable saying that Kanan's going to live.
Not with 1 health left and an Inquisitor chasing him.
It's not good show for him.
No.
But he's going to have to force one of these fighters to actually fire upon him in order for them to secure the hit. A little bit of camera...
That's true. That's true.
So there's that element of it. A little bit of camera bumping as we get checked by Tim, but we love it. We love Tim.
That's alright. Not a problem. I mean, hey, when you come all the way down from Toronto, you get a bit of leeway.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I like the just gentle maneuver from Chopper here. Like, alright, if you want to come after Kanan, well, I'm probably going to shoot at you. So, how lucky do you feel? How lucky do you feel?
I got Autoblaster turrets with your name on them.
Absolutely.
Turret.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost jumped the gun with the Inquisitor there. Kanan does need to go first. And let's see where he is going. Very likely a turn. Well, that's basically the only maneuver he can do, but...
Yeah. A turn. So we have some tokens.
And let's see. Yep, so that is a 1 turn.
And that is a stressful maneuver.
Absolutely. Get himself pulled around there. We should see the Inquisitor kill him this turn, but the Inquisitor is gonna have to be careful about spending tokens with an angry Chopper staring him down. And just that 1 turn ability that ship has.
Yeah. On something that ridiculously large. And Chopper is an angry droid.
Yeah. Well, it's the Inquisitor's 1 turn. It is such a nice maneuver, and the fact it's green is just alright. Why not? Now, he will be firing at Kanan through a debris cloud, so that is a defense dice. And barrel rolling looks like he may completely clear Chopper's range. That would be ideal for him. Doesn't want to stay in it, but that's going to be a close one.
It's also very difficult to tell if he's actually still in range with Kanan or not by barrel rolling like that. Yeah. The angle was already pretty off, so we're going to have to see.
Yeah, and there is Soontir. A 1 hard turn.
He wants to do actions.
He does, and risking getting swatted by Chopper, but it's still range. If he's in range, it's range 3 with Autothrusters. Probably a focus and an evade. Well, there's definitely the evade so far, and it looks he has not opted to push the limit with Soontir. So just not wanting to.
And that's 3 attacks, 3 dice in.
Yeah.
That's a completely destroyed Kanan.
That Kanan is gone. Don't really have to roll the defense. He's gonna die anyway. Technically, you should, but that's all right. And let's see, Chopper. Yeah, in this case, Soontir is definitely the right choice. It's got 1 health. If you can punch that 1 attack dice through, go for it. And that is 4 hits. All right, I'm gonna roll 4. Let's do it.
Was 4 defense dice?
Yep.
I see a blank in there. If he's at range,
It should be at range. Well, that is range 3.
so he gets a Palpatine and an Autoblaster, or sorry, auto defense,
An
auto
Autothruster. Yeah.
thruster, something auto.
Yeah, Palpatine, Autothruster, and an evade token. But if he hasn't rolled more than 1 evade result, and it looks like he goes down. So trading Kanan for Soontir. Not ideal, but it's still a trade.
Yeah, it is a trade. I mean, given the amount of work that Jonathan has put into dealing with Kanan once and for all, that's one thing. The fact that Soontir fell, 50% of Jonathan's offensive force is completely dealt with, and we have the shuttle, who is really close to dying.
Yeah, that shuttle's also almost dead, and that shuttle,
Narrowly going through those asteroids.
Not quite clipping it.
Here be rocks. And that would leave just the Inquisitor. An Inquisitor by himself going up against a very angry Chopper that has no qualms doing red maneuvers whenever he feels like it. That is a scary prospect.
Absolutely. Chopper doing a green maneuvers, a nice lazy forward.
I think what he's trying to do is just say, hey, I know you want to do some hard turns. Do them.
Yeah.
Be my guest.
I'll use this as an excuse to shed stress. Why not? And let's see where the Inquisitor goes. Now, he does not want to get close. He does not want to get close to Chopper. And that is a 1 hard turn.
He's getting close to Chopper.
You're not escaping range 1 this turn.
Oh, he can. He still can. It's going to be tricky.
Yeah. He may. He's going
to have to do a barrel roll on his back edge, I think, to try to clear.
Looks like, yeah, let's see.
But then he can't boost. If he boosts, then he's...
So that is a target lock to take an evade, and there is no push. So we're just gonna let it ride.
I think he wants him to just fire his attack dice into him.
Just get those 3 attack dice in. Closest point to closest point will not be through that debris cloud, so...
Now, the real question is, does Tim want to use the Autoblaster to guarantee the 2 potential hits, or does he want to fire the 4, potentially 5 attack dice?
Yeah.
So it will really depend on whether he's within range 1 or not.
It is.
Looks like he's within range 1.
It does.
Well, it is within range 1 for the Inquisitor.
And so there is, 2 hits, and wisely spending the target lock first. And that is 2 crits and a hit. So Chopper, well, we know Chopper's through into hull. That is an injured pilot. Oh, that's a little awkward. So that makes it a bit easier, and a damage sensor array.
Which doesn't really affect this at all.
Not hugely. It's somewhat annoying, but...
It is somewhat annoying, but given the fact that for the most of this game, Chopper has been stressed.
Yeah, and the fire control system is you acquire a target lock, so
Yeah.
you're not performing the action. But... Alright, so no free stress from Chopper.
And it looks like he was in the range 2 band.
That is, so that would have just been in range 2. 4 versus 3. And spending an evade, that will punch a point through. So, still not the best in well, when it comes to trading.
No.
Trading damage, but Chopper does have more health to trade with.
Yeah. Also, the Inquisitor is going to be still in a very interesting spot next turn.
Indeed. Let's see where Chopper ends up. And Chopper will have a target lock on the Inquisitor now, so that he can use those torpedoes out the rear.
Yeah.
Should the Inquisitor end up directly behind Chopper, he can just punch a torpedo out the backside.
Yeah, given that he can just eliminate that end part of the board, pretty scary. It looks like, though, Chopper has his eyes set on bigger game.
Yeah.
He can come back and deal with the Inquisitor later.
Yeah, absolutely. If Chopper can kill the shuttle before the shuttle can attack, hey, why not? And it still doesn't want to... oh, and that's somewhat awkward. Somewhat awkward for the Inquisitor. No shots from him, so Chopper has a good chance here to get a free kill.
Oh, yeah. And then on top of that, he can do an easy, either a turn or a bank.
Yeah.
And
Just a shame he has an injured pilot.
Yeah.
And that is, so we have, if he's in range, looking to see if he can plasma torpedo, but
As much as it's nice to do the plasma torpedo, it might just be better if he's within range 1 to just go for the 5 attack dice.
absolutely. And I see your pants.
Those are my pants.
So we have, looks like we've got a judge call. This is a range call. Good time to do one.
I have no recollection of this. I feel like Gandalf right now. I was so tired.
Well,
by this point,
it is almost dinner time.
By this point, yeah, so I'm hungry. And what happens when I'm hungry is I can't think straight. But, or at all.
It looks like, so Chopper had actually left his target lock on the shuttle this entire time. Firing his plasma torpedoes. There's the guidance chips. That is 4 potential points of damage. This, well, should remove the shuttle. So that is an evade. That will be 3 points of damage going through.
So you win 31 left 25, right?
And let's see. Oh, so not quite dead. That shuttle's got to be on 1, though. And yeah, that's... okay.
And that's time.
All right, so didn't quite manage to kill the shuttle at the end of the game. Went right to time there. What'd you think of those fleets, John?
Wow. I really like the double ghost. Obviously, they're not both ghosts, but it was a very interesting squadron. Lots of use of crewmen. Very powerful in the terms of board control and survivability. Of course, when it comes to Jonathan's squadron, classic Palp Aces, fairly safe, but you can really tell how powerful the VCX 100s are by just how afraid these aces were of them.
Yeah, they did play a lot cagier than we're used to seeing them.
Oh, for sure. As for the double VCX 100, it went to nationals. It placed at 6 in nationals.
That's impressive.
Very, very strong, especially with all of this Dangaroo, Palp Aces. The fact that it was very competitive says something. And this was obviously before nationals was even a thing. So I'm very happy with how Tim played. Very, very poignant when it came to his battlefield control and his ability to just see an opportunity and seize it. You saw that with the Inquisitor and Soontir fell a couple of times, saying, "Hey, you're doing this. Bam! I'm going to just veer in and take advantage of the situation."
Yeah.
What did you think of both Jonathan and Tim's list?
Oh, as we've talked about Jonathan's style of Palp Aces. I don't really think there's a whole lot more to say about it that hasn't been said already.
He flew them well.
He did fly them well. It's a very efficient list, but one you do have to be a decent player to be able to play. And when I saw Tim pulling the 2 ghosts out at the very start of the tournament, I was like, huh, all right, let's see how this goes. And turns out quite well.
And both of these players are obviously at the top of the Swiss, at the very end of the Swiss, but at the top of the Swiss, both of those players, 6 rounds into the game, definitely deserve to be here, and it definitely shows. So I am super excited to see the final cuts, the last top 8 cut.
After this, the Swiss is done, and we're into single elimination, go for gold.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, as always, guys, thanks for watching Wookies and X-Wing. We've got new videos out every Wednesday, so be sure to pop by and visit us.
We are part of the Northern Gaming Network. Be sure to check it out at northerngamingnetwork.com, where we have additional content for this game and others.
And, you guys can, any questions, comments, you can leave it in the comment section of the video. And if you want to get a hold of us directly, John will let you know how you can do that.
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Corehath. You can also find us on Twitter at NorthGameNet. You can like us on Facebook to keep up with our most recent news. And for all of our Canadian fans out there, I hope you had a wonderful practice Thanksgiving.
And we'll see you guys next week.